Hello fellow labyrinth makers, this is Yadina Clark. I wanted to share with you a couple of things I've been working on over the last couple of weeks. There was a post over on the global group about a labyrinth that turned out to be Tom Baxter's turf maze. It had some very distinctive bayonet crossings on it. It also brought up some conversation around interchangeable labyrinths. And so I've been working on a prototype for a card set for interchangeable labyrinths. And after some experimentation, I decided that I would move away from strictly concentric circles and would work with some straight inserts between the round corners, an expanded center, and then of course the seed pattern. And as you can probably tell, that's the classical pattern right there. And what's interesting about this, if you notice this card is cut in half, that's because this can be transformed into the rectangular diagram of the pattern. And the way you do that is you move everything away from the main axis. You keep turning until everything is in a straight line. And because the classical pattern doesn't have any additional turns in the middle, we can just pull that out, scoot this all together, and there you can see we've got the meander, circuit, meander pattern of the classical labyrinth. We can reverse this process to return it back to the labyrinth form. And then if we want, we can remove the parts that are specific to the classical labyrinth. And we can substitute other cards that have turn points and a different seed pattern. And here we have the Santa Rosa pattern. And we can do the same thing we did with classical. If we remove the center and the corners and move everything away from the main axis, keep turning, and there we can see the rectangular diagram of the Santa Rosa pattern. And one last time, we transform this back into the labyrinth. And we remove the parts that are specific to the Santa Rosa pattern. And then insert something different. Here is Tom Baxter's turf maze that I was mentioning at the beginning, that started this conversation a couple of weeks ago. Has the distinctive bayonet crossings that we discussed. Enters at the first circuit, enters the center from the inner circuit. Lars came up with a great variation on that. And again, if we want to see the rectangular diagram to more easily analyze the pattern, you shift everything away from that main axis. And there we have it. And one other thing that I've been working on related to these rectangular diagrams and transforming the labyrinth is origami labyrinths. So here we are starting with the rectangular diagram, and with some strategic folding of the paper, You can transform that right into the labyrinth. And that can be done with other types of labyrinths as well. This one's the classical